Welcome to the Neckbeard experience, the next edition. I did have this pre-recorded, but I needed to do editing, and I'm wondering if I deleted it, which really stinks. So I'm gonna do it again. It's taken me more time. I wanted it out by now, but you know, that's how it goes. Without further ado, let's go. This is a story of Necko-beard. Before we get into it, let me introduce the characters. Me, I'm tall, white, and I have Asian eyes. I do karate class on weekends. I like anime, not the fan service ones, you know, the ones with a good story. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, a comic reader, and I'm very good at Street Fighter. And I call myself Joseph. A good friend of mine, I'll call Chi. He's one of my best friends. He is awesome at Street Fighter, and he's also really good at Call of Duty. JP, he's absolutely my best friend. We met when we was in 3rd grade. He likes video games and comics as well. Me and Chi have been training him in Street Fighter. He gives awesome advice, and he's a smart one of the gang. Then there's Brat. He's a little fat white kid. Sometimes acts like a jerk, but other times he's a pretty cool guy, and he's really bad at Street Fighter. Jojo, he's a black male, he's a little bit fat and shy, and he's a really big anime fan. He's introduced me to a few. He's a really smart guy. Then there's the man of the hour, Necko-beard. He's male, white, fat, and he's a new guy. I'm gonna let him develop as the story goes. Here's some background for context. All this interaction was in Spanish. This story took place in Central America around 2018. It was around the start of a school year, and we were all in high school. Okay, now to the story. It was the first day of class, and we all decided to reunite at the side of the classroom. While there, we see a new guy. We usually welcome the new guys, and that dude, it was Necko-beard. We approached him, and the conversation went like this. Hello, are you new?
Hi. Yeah, I'm new. I'm coming to the high school here now.
Oh, we are too. We're in the same grade. You want to come with us?
Sure, thanks.
So, where are you from?
I just moved here from the capital city.
Oh, wow. After that, we introduced ourselves. Then we went to the gym. This is where our principal gave us our class number, and we ended up being divided. JP and Chai was in one room, Jojo, Necko-beard, and I was in another, and Brat was in a separate one altogether. Fast forward to day 2. I arrived late, as always, but for my luck, Jojo and Necko-beard had saved me a seat. Today, Necko-beard was a little less shy, and he talked more. He tells us that he likes anime, and we both like anime too, and which ones we liked. And he said,
Oh, I've never seen that one before.
You never seen them before? What animes do you like to watch?
Oh, I watch.
I don't remember its name.
And
I don't remember that either. Oh, you've got to see this anime.
Sure, but after we watch it, can we watch
I forgot the name.
with me?
Okay. After 2 episodes of Phantom Blood, he said,
Joseph, are there any lollies or traps in this anime?
After I say, no, he pulled out his phone and played his anime. It had a lot of lollies and traps, Nickos and Trap Nickos. After 5 episodes of it, it became clear that he loved fan service anime, and that was kind of a red flag for us, but I just ignored it. In our conversation, Necko-beard heard about the next Street Fighter class that Chai was gonna give JP, and he asked a lot of questions.
What's Street Fighter? Is the class free? Do you guys play it a lot?
And etc. After answering all of his questions, he asked if he can join. Now, JP was getting really good at what he was doing, so I told Chi that the first lesson was going to be at my house, and it was a day to remember. When he entered into my room, his first question was,
Joseph, where's all your lolly and trap art?
I don't like stuff like that. He then proceeded to rampage through my library as I set up the PS3 with all the necessary gear, and then I heard him say,
Oh, why do you have this thing? It's only for kids to read.
In his hand he had a copy of The Flash, the new 52 Volume 1. I looked at him dead in the eyes. Always hated when people thought that comics were only for kids, so I went to the library and took a copy of Batman to him, The Killing Joke, and I gave it to him and told him, just read this and tell me if it's just for kids. After a while he said,
Well, no, but I wish I was trapping Nico in there.
I ignored his comment, and I just started to play with him. You need to choose Ryu, because he's a character for beginners. But he refused.
No, I want to play Sakura instead. She looks like a trap.
He also didn't want to hear all of my advice, so he was terrible at the game. Then he started losing a bunch of times and he said,
You're cheating!
After I got done with all of his bull crap, I ended the class and told him, okay, that does it. Go home. He threw a temper tantrum and said,
This is unfair.
But after a while, he surrendered and he called his mom. And he decided after this class that he was a master of Street Fighter. He told everyone that he was awesome at it. Yeah, right. So 15 days after that class, I organized a Street Fighter tournament. And wouldn't you know, he lost on the very first fight versus JP. He also claimed that JP was cheating. At the end, Chi beat JP, then I beat Chi. Then I got my butt beaten down by a teacher of my school. To be honest, he was really the best. Fast forward to the half-year vacation. In my karate dojo, our sensei tells us that our next class, we should bring a friend and they will receive a free class. So maybe they would like to join. So I told Jojo, but he was sick. Then I asked JP, and he already had plans. Brett had plans too. And he just wasn't interested. So there's only one more person left. So I asked Necko-beard. He asked if I could come to his house on Friday before the class, and to give him a crash course on karate. I wasn't sure I wanted to do so, but I didn't have anything else to do, so I went. When I entered into his room, there was a bunch of Nico and Trap posters. Even worse, he had a Trap body pillow. I tried to ignore all of that, but he made it even more difficult. Every 3 seconds he talked about the posters or his body pillow. I told him that his room was too small, and we didn't have enough room to practice. So finally we went out of there. I felt good to be able to breathe again, cause that room was a toxic place with some ungodly rancid odor. I went to change out of my normal clothes, and to get into my karate gi. That's the uniform used in karate. It's just like the one that Ryu wears in Street Fighter. I was waiting for Necko-beard outside when I saw him come out of the house, and he was wearing shorts and a really small t-shirt. After about 20 minutes of practice, he quit and said,
This is bullcrap. I already know that stuff.
So I told him what time I'd be coming to pick him up. The next day. For my luck, he was already ready. But to my horror, he was wearing the exact same clothes from the day before. We arrived just in time. All the other students were there with their friends, while I was there with Necko-beard, wishing that he would not do anything stupid. But that didn't work out. After about 30 minutes of a 1-hour class, he quit, and he said,
I'm done. I can't do anything else.
My sensei, being a hard person, told him, stand up.
No.
So the sensei said,
okay then, do 30 push-ups.
Which is the usual punishment. He looked at him straight in the eye and he said,
You're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do.
The sensei saw that there was no way he was going to get him to do anything, so he continued the class. At the end of the class, I apologized for Necko-beard's actions, and he told me not to worry. After that, I put on my normal clothes and got into the car with Necko-beard. I saw him coming to the car, and he had Nico ears on his head, and a furry tail. My dad took us to the mall, And while in the mall, my dad went to the bank, so Necko-beard and I went around the mall. I was really angry with him, so I decided not to talk to him until he apologized. At our time at the mall, we went to the anime store. In the store, I was going to buy something Street Fighter, a cap or a collectible or something like that. I was checking out when he told me,
"Why are you buying that? You should buy some lolly stuff. Or maybe some Necko ears."
I just ignored him and I bought my stuff. Now, I was completely angry at him, so I don't know why. While eating a Big Mac, he dropped this bomb on me.
"Joseph, I must confess something."
What?
"I'm actually gay, and I have a crush on you."
I was shocked. I mean, I'm not gay or homophobic, but that bomb kinda left me dumbfounded. So I tried to say in a soft voice, well, you see, Necko-beard, the problem is, I'm not gay, but we can still be friends. Then he cut me off.
"Oh, but that's no problem. I'm gay, so it's no problem."
"Yeah, you may be gay, but I'm not, so I'm sorry." He looked sad. Then he went on to say,
"Oh, okay,"
with a little bit of sobbing behind it. I didn't speak to him for the rest of the day, not in the mall or on the ride back home. After getting home, I called JP, and he gave a big and then he went silent and he said,
"Oh wait, for real?"
Apparently Necko-beard told him the same thing. So we called JoJo, and he told JoJo the same thing. So we called Chi, and him too. The only one that Necko-beard didn't declare his love to was Brat. And for some reason, when the others told him no, he took it pretty well. So why was he so angry when I told him no? Brat made some investigation, and apparently my Asian-looking eyes and my white skin and my semi-long hair made me look like a trap. So that kind of explained a lot. I decided to cut my hair and change my look after that. When the 15-day vacation ended, JP told me that Necko-beard had made a rumor up, saying that I was homophobic. The lie was poorly made, so no one really believed it. But still, I went to talk to the principal. After that, I forgot about it, and I thought it was the end of it. But no, I was going to my next class when I heard someone scream,
"You sick Why did you have to tell the principal?"
I looked back, and the next thing I knew, a fist hit me right in the face. It was not so hard, but it was enough to take me out of myself. I lost track of everything for like 1 second.
"Oh, my hand!"
And here's where karma comes into play. Remember the karate free lesson, which he said he already knew? Well, part of that was the correct way to close your fist. You have to put your thumb over your forefingers. If you put your thumb inside your fist, you're gonna break your thumb. Well, guess where Necko-beard put his thumb to hit me? That's right, under his fingers. And he broke his thumb. The principal came to us, and Necko-beard told him in sobs that I broke his hand. But the principal knew I wasn't that kind of person, so the principal checked the cameras. And yep, there was the evidence. After that and a visit to the doctor for the hit in the head, I returned to school 2 days later, and I was told that Necko-beard was not seen for the rest of the year. He didn't show up again. And Brat, who was his neighbor, told me that his family moved. He stopped going to our high school. I never knew if he decided to change high schools or if he got expelled. And that's the end of it. None of us knows what happened to him. I hope he's grown up since then. I just want to say that I love Neckbeard stories. They always make me smile. So I decided I want to share my own Neckbeard story. My nickname is Foxy. About 10 years ago when I was 14, a game workshop opened up near my grandparents' house. 14-year-old me was a very happy girl because I've always been into MTG. But due to nowhere in reasonable distance selling the cards, I had to play with my dad's old cards. And I had a very limited pool of people to play with, mainly my dad and my uncles. I immediately became a patron of the shop. I finally bought my first deck, and the owner told me that Fridays they have an MTG night, where people will come and play informal tournaments, which was perfect for me, as I stayed at my grandparents' house on the weekends. And it being so close, they didn't mind me coming in late after tournaments. I was the only girl there, and I was the youngest player. But most of the other players were really nice. They would give me suggestions on how to improve my deck and clearing up any misunderstandings about the rules, seeing that my teachers who played the game was a decade out of practice. Then there was MTG-beard. He was a big guy. He had some scraggly fluff all over his neck and shin. He wore a fedora. I could have sworn it was part of his skull because I never seen him take it off. He never miladied me, and he never tried to flirt with me, thankfully. Hopefully because I was far underage. And the owner made it perfectly clear that he wasn't tolerant of anything inappropriate in front of me, despite me saying that I was pretty shameless, and they didn't need to censor themselves just for me. For the first few weeks, he grunted and ignored me. Seemed like he was under the impression that I would just eventually drop out since I wasn't really that good at the game, but I was enjoying myself way too much. Then when he realized that I was there to stay, he finally had to sit next to me every week, meaning I had to put up with his BO and his horribly stinky cheese snacks. And whenever we played the two-headed giants, that's 2-on-2 matches, he'd pitch a fit unless I was his partner, even though all he ever did was,
"You must have your daddy do your deck, and even with that, it isn't that good. But that's okay, it isn't your fault, because you have a pitiful female brain. You couldn't possibly understand the detailed strategy of MTG.
You know how I said I was pretty bad at the game? Well, MTG-beard, he was the worst player there. He always brought a rolling case with boxes filled with decks of cards. He obviously sunk a lot of money into the game, and he was always trounced every time he played with us. Even I could beat him every time we played against each other, and he always accused me of cheating or of stacking the deck. Heck, he did it to me the first week I was there, even when he and other players literally watched me open the box and unwrap the new deck. It came to a head about 4 months later. My dad, seeing how much I enjoyed the game, had no real use for them anymore, and he let me have his card collection, which included some real old and rare cards, the pride of which being a particular artifact that I added to my deck that worked really well with it. That week was probably one of my best weeks playing, all thanks to the new card. A couple of others asked to look at it, seeing that it was pretty rare, so I obliged. They made a couple of offers to trade for it, but I refused. The card just worked too well with my deck, and it's been my dad's card, and I wanted to look after it. Then MTG-beard spoke up.
"I'll give you £2 for it."
MGT-beard? I'm not trading or selling it. And even if I was, it's worth a lot more than that. Probably closer to £50.
"You couldn't even use it properly. £5. No more."
I was really getting annoyed. I had won most of the matches that night. Despite his insistence, I wasn't using it right. So I said
no, MGT-beard. It's worth more than that, and it's my dad's card. It's not for sale or trade.
He grumbled loudly, and he put the card back. I thought that was it. A little later, me and another one of the players was hashing out a trade. I picked up my cards to go through them, so I can find one to trade. To my horror, my rare card was gone, replaced with a red dragon card, which very much didn't belong to me. I was scared and rather annoyed, but I did my best to hide it.
Hey, MTG-beard? I think you've had a mix-up. I have one of your dragons instead of my rare card.
I knew it had been him. No one else was playing red dragons, and it was his favorite deck to run, even if the rest of us could run over his poor dragons with little effort.
"No, I don't."
Well, you were the last one to have my card. Where is it?
"I gave you a dragon card."
I was infuriated.
Hey, that isn't how that works. I said I wasn't selling or trading the card. You can't just give me a random card, take mine, and call it a trade.
"Well, too bad. All trades are final."
The others weren't having it either. Everyone was siding with me, insisting that he give my card back. But MTG-beard refused. The owner, annoyed at the noise, came out to see what was going on. When he found out what happened, he was really angry with MTG-beard. MTG-beard, give Foxy back her card now. Do it before I call the police. They will make you get the card back. For a minute, MTG-beard looked like he was going to punch the owner, but eventually visibly sagged and deflated, pulling out one of the cards from the deck and handing it to me. I of course checked to see if it was the right card, because I wouldn't put anything past him. I tossed the dragon card back at him. I was happy to leave it there, but the owner was still really angry. I don't tolerate thieves in my shop. You're banned. Now get out. He slunk out with his rolling case with him. I never saw him again after that. Hello, my name is Morgan, and I have a little story for you. For context, this happened in 2008. I was about 5'0", 14 years old, and I was in that random weeb phase of my life. I was a very obvious child. I was at a local mini-con at a bookstore, where I met this guy. He was young, but he was a legal adult. I call him Trappy, as according to his Facebook, he's still into him after 10 years. I went to see if he matured at all, but the first post I saw was an NSFW with underage characters. Yikes. Now Trappy was, and still is, huge. Definitely over 6 foot tall. Very stocky, with some chub. He had long hair and a short beard. He also sported around a sword, but honestly, he wasn't abhorrent. I don't remember too well, but I think he smelled like he knew what soap was, and he at least looked clean. He didn't do anything typical neckbeardy, as I saw, but he used to say,
I identify as male lesbian.
and
The people in movements like Black Lives Matter are like Hitler.
he tried to justify this by saying,
More like blaming others with perceived privileges for their own shortcomings and failures kind of way.
Anyway, over the course of the little conversation we had, he would pick me up, which I was okay with because I was a small child, and I briefly felt pretty tall, and it was exciting. He would give me numerous hugs, which I didn't mind at the time, but I don't remember if he asked for them or not. And he would kiss me on the top of the head, which did make me kind of feel weird, enough so that I would write it down in my diary, which I still have. When my mom came to pick me up, Trappy asked me,
So, you wanna come sleep over with me? I've got a few friends.
I think he said there was one girl and one guy, and understandably, when I asked my mom, she said no, and she wouldn't budge. At the time, I was bitter about it, but I was young and naive, and I just assumed it was a school night the next day. It literally only dawned on me recently that her firm refusal probably saved me from being assaulted. Trappy and I were friends on Facebook a few years ago, mainly because I forgot, after unfollowing his post, because I was seeing so much sick lolly art on his feed, and some not safe for work art. The last straw is when I shared a post about transphobic Halloween costumes, saying that trans women are not a costume, and he commented on that out of the blue, trying to justify making fun of them. Well, I instantly deleted his comment, and I unfriended him. He's not the type of person I want to be friends with. He never stalked me or anything after the sleepover incident. It's probably because he knew my mom would absolutely destroy him. At the time, she was required to learn how to restrain dangerous individuals regularly. Thank you very much for joining me for this edition of the Neckbeard Experience. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back again soon. Please leave a like, share, and comment, because I want this channel to start growing again. Thanks for listening, and just remember, have fun with your failures, or they'll have fun with you.